Hi there, it's Catherine with GriefInspired, and welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, I'm so glad that you're here. I fundamentally believe that grief isn't something that happens to you. Grief is something that you actively work on. There is a process. I encourage all of you to lean into grief, even though you might not want to, because that's where true healing is. That's where you're going to understand what's going on, be able to process your emotions, and ultimately find happiness for what you have now, happiness for your future, understand where you're going, where you're heading, and what this world and this life all means. And I think that that's where fulfillment lives. Fulfillment lives in connecting to ourselves and connecting to others. So thank you so much for being here. Now today we're going to talk about some of the lessons in grief. And if today happens to be a particularly hard day for you, I want you to know you're not alone. And we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna work through it. Hi, and welcome back. And if you do love my videos, if you find them useful, I want to encourage you to please like and subscribe to my channel so that more people can have access to my videos. I found so many people say, why aren't your videos more viral? Well, you're the one that can help with that. So if today is a hard day for you, if this is a hard period of your life, I want you to remember that you're not alone. Grief is very hard. So many of us think that there's something wrong with us when we're grieving. Why am I not better? Why is this taking so long? What is wrong with me? Sometimes we fundamentally think when things don't feel right, it's because there's something wrong with us, that we need to change, that we need to be different. And while I think that so many of us believe that we're broken, that when we're grieving, we're broken. And maybe that's because we don't know what's going on with emotions, and we feel erratic, and we yell at people for no reason, or we don't want to associate with other people, and we withdraw, and we don't want to go and do the things that used to be fun for us. And it makes us feel like there is something wrong. I know I've talked before about literally feeling like I was going crazy, that I was like, something was wrong. This isn't right. It doesn't feel right. And so I must be going crazy. That's where I went. And it took me about 2 years to really realize that no, I'm not going crazy. None of us are crazy. What's happening is we're grieving, and the world does not give us enough of a place and an understanding of what grief is about. And I think that makes it harder. I think it makes it harder to share what's going on with us. It makes us feel like we have to stay hidden. I think it makes us feel like we need to put on our happy face and sort of just power through. And that's not really fair, but it is the world that we live in. I'm doing as much as I can to help educate as many people as possible on the process of grief. Remembering that the natural tendency for all of us is to avoid grief, to push it down, to just press on, to just move forward. It's a natural, normal thing for us all to do. I did it too. What I can tell you from my experience and from all of the people that I've worked with in my different grief courses is that that doesn't work. I think the men that I've worked with, right? I think men have a tendency to really, press on, right? Push it down, don't talk about it, don't think about it, just kind of like power through. Stay tough, right? Be strong. I think that's what men often are told, and women too, to be honest. And just because you're looking at your grief and you're leaning into grief and saying, what does this mean? And why am I feeling this way? And why am I so sad? And why do I miss them so much? And really understand what's happening. I think it's, it really needs to be dealt with. And so if you are the one that's pushing it down, it's probably not you, because you're here, you're looking for education, you're looking for videos. it will come back, right? And I think that holds true with anything that's a problem for us or that we perceive as a problem. And that takes us into what I really want this video to be about, is some of the lessons. And this is something that I'm actively going through myself, which makes it really poignant. And I love so much to share sort of what's going on with me in my life and the things that have happened to me and kind of what I've learned and what I'm learning as I go through it. And it's been just over 6 months since my dad died. Today, I'm missing him a little bit more. I've got some stuff, some challenges that are going on in my life right now. And, you know, I wish I could call him up. I wish I could go see him, and just talk to him about it and see what he has to say. And I wear this necklace. This necklace is a St. Christopher medal. If you can see it here, it was one that he got when he was 17 years old, and he wore it every day from the time he was 17 until he passed away. He was wearing it when he passed away. And so I like having it. I like keeping it close to my heart. It's just for me. It makes me feel like he's with me, he's closer. And then as I feel it throughout the day, as I feel it touch my skin, it just makes me feel closer to him. So in terms of lessons, right, when things don't feel right, I think Mel Robbins calls it friction, right? When your life is full of friction, when there's something going on, there is an opportunity to learn. I think we all want our lives to go smoothly, to be, you know, my personal search in life is to have this kind of peace, this peace and calm that I feel within me in anything that I do. And I think the world that we are in right now is so counter to that peace. And it's so stressful. And I have had, you know, my last year, if you guys have been following me, you know, all of the stress that I've had this year. And those of you who are closest to me, because you've been in my courses, you know even more of what's going on with that. So it has been a really stressful year. And so, you know, I'm looking now and saying, okay, well, what is this teaching me? What solutions do I need? What are the things that I've actually liked? What do I want to move toward? And what are the things that I want to put aside or say, I don't need this in my life anymore? What are the things that don't make me feel great? But I think in our grief, as difficult and challenging as it is a period of time in our life. The intensity of the grief that you feel is not going to be this bad forever if you're in the earliest phases. It feels like that, and sometimes you can't even imagine anything being different. But the reality is that the days go on, and you get to a month, and you make it a month, and then you get to 3 months, and then you get to 6 months. And if you're processing and if you're learning from your grief, there are lessons that will present themselves to you. And so this is an opportunity. If you're feeling less than great, I want you to start to look and say, well, where does this not feel good? What about my life? And what are the things that I can control? There's so much about grief that we can't control, but there are things that you can control. You can control who you spend time with. You can control where you live. You can control your career, whether you want to change jobs or stay in the job that you have. There are, you know, the places you go, the hobbies you pick up. I have so many people that go back to hobbies, to things that they used to like, whether it's doing puzzles or what is it? There's some diamond art that some of the people in my Facebook group are doing, which is kind of cool and addictive, and it gives you a place to, you know, to sort of release. Doing creative things is always very good. You know, whatever it is, you know, maybe you need to like work on your health. Maybe you need to work on your sleep and have a nighttime routine, or maybe have a morning routine, because you kind of just wake up and you're like flailing in the morning, right? So how do you wake up holding your grief and saying, okay, this sucks. What am I going to do about it? What are the things, right? I post lots of meditation videos in my Facebook group because I believe in meditation, in quieting yourself down, in looking within and just sitting in silence and saying, what am I supposed to know? What am I supposed to be learning in this? What does my loved one need me to know? What would they want me to know in this situation? There's so many questions that we can dive into. Some of those questions are in my grief journal. But there is always a lesson. Life brings us lessons. And when things aren't feeling good, I think there's even more of a lesson. And I don't necessarily like that that's the case. When something doesn't feel good to us, when there is that friction, it means we need to move away from it. It means we need to do something else. Mel Robbins had in her video, she said, take a piece of paper and put 2 columns and say, these are the things that aren't so great right now. These are the things that are not preferred. I think she called it shit I hate, right? What are the things that you don't like so much? And then divide that page. And on the other side, say, what are the things I do like? And then that gives you a place to start. And you start looking at the column that this is less than ideal. And then saying, okay, what can I do about it? What is a solution to that? And it will give you some semblance of control. And there's so many different areas that you can do that in, right? Like lately, I've been trying to really take control of my health. I've been working on my diet, on my exercise, helping with my sleep, all of that. And it's remarkable how much it's helping me, right? And it's something that I've known, but it's actually believing and taking control and saying, well, what can I do? What can I do to improve my sleep if I'm not sleeping? Of course you feel terrible if you're not sleeping great. What are the things that you can do? What are the lessons that you can learn? How can you use your grief to enhance the future that you now have? I get that we can't go back. We can't have the life that we want. We can't have the life with our loved ones. But you are blessed and deserving and worthy of the life that you still have. And it is your responsibility to make the best of this for your loved one who's no longer here. And how do you do that? And how do you connect with other people? How do you share? Those are all the things that I do on my Facebook group. How do you understand what's important to you, your emotions, all of it. It's all so important to our overall well-being because we deserve to be happy. We are worthy of love and belonging and feeling worthy and having confidence and feeling good and experiencing joy and happiness. That's what we all want and it's what we all deserve. So grief is an opportunity to help you find that for you. It's a process and I want to help.